You owe us 6 grand for managing your abandoned property. That's the first thing I hear. Can you believe it? 8 months away, I pull into my family's old cabin in Pine Valley, just wanting peace. After losing my mom, and suddenly there's this woman, Karen, standing in my driveway like she owns the place, barking about legal documents and liens, and screaming at me about lawsuits like I'm some kind of criminal. I look around and the whole neighborhood, folks I've known for years, they're turning their backs. Just like that, I'm a pariah in my own hometown. And you know what? I was so tired, so wrung out, it almost worked. Almost, but not quite. Ever had somebody try to take everything from you? Let me back up a second. 8 months before, I got that call, the one no one wants. My mom had stage 4 cancer, and the docs in Denver said maybe 6 months left. So I packed up, left my consulting job, and moved into her cramped apartment to be her full-time caregiver. Those months, watching her fade, paying off 40 grand in medical bills even after insurance, nearly broke me. When we finally laid her to rest, I just wanted to crawl up to our family's mountain cabin and hide, you know? But life had other plans. The afternoon I drove up that old winding road, I expected peace, but there's Karen, mid-40s, business suit, contractor's belt, clipboard and all, setting up next to a white van that says Pine Valley Management Services. She waves a folder at me, super official, not even surprised to see me. Mr. Johnson, I'm Karen Willis from Pine Valley Management. Your property required emergency management during abandonment. Then she hands me a bill, $6,000 in management fees, plus $800 in penalties. Looks totally legit, letterhead, lawn maintenance, security checks, pest control, even a signature that looks almost like mine at the bottom. But I never signed anything. Never even met this woman. So I tell her straight, this is fraud. She just lays out more paperwork on my truck like she's dealing cards. Business licenses, contractor permits, insurance. She quotes Colorado statutes, rattling off law like she's on a game show. She really believes her own act. This isn't some random scammer. It's organized. So I call the county sheriff. Deputy Miller shows up, reads her documents, shrugs and says, "This is a civil matter, sir." That's it. Just like that, she's got the upper hand. Karen packs up her gear, hands me a pamphlet about my rights, and tells me I've got 15 business days to pay before she files a lien. Then she leaves like it's just another day at the office. That night I sit on the porch, looking at these documents, wondering if I'm losing my mind. The signature looks so close to mine, I start doubting myself. Did I sign something and forget? Stress, grief, it all messes with you. The next morning it gets weirder. County utility truck sits at the end of my road, driver watching my cabin through binoculars, then rolling away as soon as I step outside. No note, just that cold feeling of being watched. Karen's upping the pressure. Then, that afternoon, I find a photo in my mailbox, a picture of my mom's grave, fresh flowers, and Karen's business card stuck right on top. The message is loud and clear. She knows where to hurt me. I call Tom, my old college buddy. He's a lawyer now, up in Boulder. "Tom, I need you. Someone's trying to steal my land. And now they're threatening my mother's grave." Tom says he's on his way. While I wait, my neighbor Mike Stevens, a retired sheriff's deputy, knocks on the door. He warns me, Karen's not some amateur. She worked for the county planning department, knows the system, knows every loophole. 2 years back, she even tried to recruit him into her community protection business, wanted him to spy on absentee owners. Mike says, "Jack, when the county digitized everything in the 70s, the records got real messy. Somebody who knows what to look for could make a real mess of land deeds." Tom arrives, takes one look at the paperwork, and says, "This is more than fraud. She's building a case to take your property legally." He starts digging through county records. Turns out, because of a screw-up in the 70s, my family's cabin, and the whole surrounding valley, shows unresolved ownership in the database. But Tom's thorough. He calls up Rebecca, the county clerk, and asks her to check the original paper records. Turns out, my grandfather's 1952 homestead claim covered the entire valley, 1,800 acres, including the whole Pine Valley development. Suddenly, I'm not just fighting for a cabin, I own the land beneath. The whole town. The bombshell is so big, Tom says, "Jack, you might be the landlord for 200 families. I just want to mourn my mother, not start a land war." But Karen has no idea. So Tom suggests we go straight to her office during business hours with plenty of witnesses. We walk into Pine Valley Management, 8 people in the waiting room. Karen looks up, all confidence. I lay it out. Miss Willis, you're operating on Johnson family land. We've owned it since 1952. For the first time, her mask slips. She starts calling the title office, the county clerk, her voice going higher, more frantic as she realizes her whole scheme might be collapsing. Karen melts down in front of a room full of clients, scattering files, mumbling legal statutes, finally telling everyone to leave for legal emergencies. But as I'm leaving, her assistant Beth slips me her number, says Karen's been acting desperate and maybe she can help. 3 hours later, I get a text from an unknown number. Withdraw your claims, or everyone will know what really happened to your mother's money. She's threatening to drag my family's grief into public view. Tom tells me to document everything and call the police, but we both know how useless that'll be. Meanwhile, Karen doubles down, hires genealogists to challenge my land claim, calls my cousins in Denver and tells them I'm stealing the family estate, spins up a social media group painting me as an out-of-state land grabber threatening 200 families. The whole town turns on me. I walk into the local market. Folks I've known since I was a kid can't look me in the eye. Karen even organizes a community meeting at the church, stands at the pulpit talking about outside threats, hands out legal-looking folders, stirs up old land feuds. Only 2 people support me. Mike, who Karen tries to bribe with a fake neighborhood watch job, and old Rose Carter, who digs up survey documents from her basement, original letters from my granddad about the land. The pressure ramps up. Karen spends her daughter's college fund on lawyers, calls in federal agencies, and then things get personal. She plants forged letters in my cabin, sneaks in at night, then files for a restraining order claiming I threatened her. At the same time, she contacts the Forest Service, gets a federal investigation going about historic land boundaries, stirs up panic about land seizures, turns the whole thing into a circus. The town splits down the middle. People who used to bake cookies for my mom now glare at me like I'm an enemy soldier. But Rose's documents and Tom's legal hustle come through. We find a 1974 letter from my grandfather, clearing up the boundary with the federal government. With less than 48 hours to spare before the federal hearing, Mike drives to Denver and retrieves the originals from the state archives. Tom files them in court just in time. At the federal hearing, Karen's got the room, the press, the townsfolk, the sob stories all lined up. She's masterful, paints me as the villain, herself as the community's savior. But when Tom hands over the boundary documents, everything changes. The federal surveyor reads them into the record. Pine Valley's private land claims are valid. No federal seizure, no Karen victory parade. Karen cracks, publicly, yelling, trying to snatch documents, getting dragged from court. Her business goes down, her clients abandon her, the feds open fraud investigations, and the community, after months of manipulation, finally sees her for what she is. In the aftermath, Pine Valley changes. Beth, Karen's former assistant, becomes president of a new, voluntary association. Mike runs property scam awareness programs. The community runs itself honestly, with me as landlord by default, but with fair agreements, transparency, and no more fear. Karen gets 3 years in prison and restitution to dozens of victims. The neighborhood that nearly tore itself apart becomes a model for rural communities statewide. But even in victory, there's a chill. As they lead Karen away, she looks back and says, "You have no idea what you've started." And maybe she's right. Maybe there's always another storm over the ridge. But for now, Pine Valley stands together, stronger and wiser. And that's more satisfying than any court ruling. Now it's your turn. What would you do if your whole community turned against you? If someone tried to rewrite your family's story? Where do you draw the line between justice and survival? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Your stories keep these mountains honest. And hey, if you believe in standing up for what's right, smash that like button and stick around for the next wild ride.